In this video, I want to talk about some of the things that I specifically don't do when I'm manifesting. These are, of course, things that I have discovered myself through my own experience in manifesting, and these are also advice that I give my coaching clients. Some of the things that I'm going to mention here are going to be stuff that are helpful for you to figure out what to do in a certain situation if you are going through something similar. And other things that I'm going to mention are things that you sometimes hear that you should do. And here I am saying that I specifically don't do these things. I am, of course, going to explain to you why I do or don't do things while I'm manifesting, and that is going to be helpful for you to gain a better understanding of how the law of assumption works, specifically if you're new to the topic. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna, and I'm a manifestation coach. On this channel, I teach the law of assumption as taught by Neville Goddard, while I'm also keeping it simple and practical so that you can take it and apply it to your own manifestations right away. So if that's what you were looking for, you are definitely in the right place. So please subscribe and stay for more. And if you happen to need any additional help with your manifestations, I do offer coaching. The link is in the description box below. If you have any questions regarding my way of teaching the law of assumption, or you'll figure it out through the video, or my coaching, you are very welcome to ask me in the comments. So the first thing that I make sure that I don't do when manifesting, and this is the sort of the confidence that you gain through experience actually, is one is I don't beat myself up if I'm having a lazy day, and therefore I'm also not forcing the techniques on myself, because forcing in manifestation is not going to work. Your mind doesn't work through forcing. Your mind or imagination works better through relaxation. So if you're having a lazy day, go enjoy it. Don't feel guilty, because what that does is that it creates a whole new set of resistance and negativity, that, oh my God, I didn't do my techniques for a whole day, I ruined it, now it stopped. Nothing stops. So if you're just not in the mood, you mind is foggy, it's better that you meditate, it's better that you do other things that you enjoy, stay in the moment, do whatever you need to do. And yeah, specifically don't feel guilty, because that's also a way of creating negativity in your mind, that you just, first of all, you don't want to feel that. Second of all, you don't want to manifest more of it. So, and I'm not saying this to make you scared of negative thoughts or emotions. These come up and there are ways of working with it. It's just that there's no reason for you to create more than necessary. And this is not necessary, really. But another thing that I don't do that is very much related to this one is I don't let myself make that laziness in manifestation, in my mental work, go too far, because that can also become a habit. And what that habit does is that if you're not in your imagination living in the end, what happens is that you will start getting too much in the 3D. And that is the exact opposite of what you want to do in manifestation when you are consciously manifesting. Of course, we are always manifesting, by the way, but when you are consciously working on manifesting something, focusing on the 3D is one of the worst things that you can do to yourself, because it creates a lot of anxiety, it creates a lot of lack mentality. And this is the reason that I don't let myself make that lazy moment become a habit, because then noticing the 3D becomes a habit. Noticing time goes by, nothing is happening, no movement, etc. All of a sudden that becomes a habit, and I'm speaking of experience here. When you sometimes you just notice that you have been doing that for too long and you think you're doing the work, but you're not really. And that is one of the main reasons why people's manifestations last forever. And when something becomes a habit, the problem with it, the negative habit, is that you don't notice it. It's only when you stop, go back into your imagination, and you realize that you're not doing the work. But it's okay, because as soon as you start doing the work, things roll. So don't beat yourself up if you're having a lazy day. That's okay. Your manifestation doesn't stop. The world doesn't stop. Nothing stops. Nothing gets ruined. But on the other hand, don't let that become your new normal, because your mind is going to go to the old story that it already knows automatically if you don't introduce it to your new story again and again. And yeah, something else that I have come to, this one is tricky. This is again another thing that comes with the confidence that you gain through experience. And that is giving into the doubts, giving into the negative thoughts or negative stories that come up, taking it as facts, and spiraling. When you are consciously manifesting, and especially when you have experience, and this is the reason I always tell my clients, keep manifesting consciously. It doesn't have to be big stuff all the time, but it needs to be something that reminds you that you are actually doing this. You are the source of all your experiences. So, because we can actually, even an experienced manifestor, conscious manifestor, can fall into the habit of doing the things the old way. If that just becomes a habit, you give into one negative thought, that one negative thought becomes two negative thoughts, and all of a sudden you're fully in it with all your attention. And what you keep focusing on, that keeps feeling real. So why I was saying that this has a little bit to do with the confidence that you gain through experience is that when negative thought comes up, it's not that I never really react or feel bad or have a doubt. Yes, I do. But that moment lasts so little compared to years ago when I was still learning this, or before, even before you knew manifestation, you know what I'm talking about. For me, before I knew manifestation, if I had a negative experience and then the negative assumptions with it, I could spiral and feel bad for weeks. And I know this from my clients also, that if they, anyone, not just my clients, I'm sure some of you have had the same experience. If you give in to the negative story, you can go as far as to completely panic, because that can feel so real, which means that your desire is not going to happen. And that's frightening. And if you pay attention to this and treat your negative beliefs as technically, this is one of the cases where I would go completely technical with it. Meaning, negative thought comes up, you start feeling bad, because that never feels good. And you start becoming really technical about manifestation, meaning you start treating it as an old story. You recognize that you are telling yourself an old story. Yes, you have believed it for a long time, but it's just a story, and it's just a belief. Beliefs change. And if you repeat a different belief, that will dissolve this old belief, and that will change your physical experiences. So this is sort of the self-talk that I would have with myself. And it sort of reminds you, like, wait a minute, yeah, this is just my old programming. It feels very real, but that's what it does. It's normal. And all I need to do is, this is where techniques come in. All I need to do is apply the techniques with attention, and at some point my belief system is going to change, like completely. Your life changes because your mindset changes. Your the the assumptions and the beliefs that you hold about yourself, about everything that is important in your life, those change. And the more you do this work, the more you realize that this is the case. So that this is one other important thing that, well, experience has made my life easier with this, to be honest, because now I know that a limiting belief comes up or a negative story comes up. I know that this is just some old stuff that needs to be dealt with, instead of like really giving into it, believing, and then spiraling. If you're doing that, it's okay. You can still um, get back to yourself, to your imagination, and start from there and still get your manifestation. It's not like it ruins your manifestation or it has ruined everything and God knows what. It's just that it really makes you feel horrible, and there is absolutely no reason for that. And this again comes with training, and that is why I always say to keep manifesting. Whatever you think is fun to manifest, even random useless things. It really helps with your confidence in yourself as a manifester. So we're getting to two things I'm going to mention that you learn a lot that you should do. That, like, this is the key to manifesting. One of them is detaching slash letting go. There's no such key in manifestation, to be honest. I have, and I'm speaking of experience here. I don't remember if I have ever mentioned this in any video, but a long time ago, when I was still figuring it out, I had already started manifesting, but I was still figuring this out. And there was something that I was manifesting that just wasn't moving. And I kept searching, reading, listening to people. And a lot of people kept saying, oh, you need to detach, you need to let go, because otherwise your manifestation won't come to you. And I thought, well, that's probably the one thing that I haven't done so far. So I am just going to let go. I discovered that it's completely impossible to let go of a desire, and I later understood why. You can't let go of something if you don't believe it's yours. All the techniques that we do in order to manifest something, what that does is that it changes our assumptions, our beliefs. So the belief changes when this new story is that now I'm getting real technical, but trust me, this is so interesting. The new belief is formed when your new story, your new belief, is repeated and really relived and rehearsed so much in your mind that it sinks into your subconscious. Your subconscious mind accepts it as real, and once that has been accepted as real, your old story goes. And that creates this calmness and confidence that your manifestation, whatever desire you had, is yours. It goes from being a desire I wanted to it's mine. By the way, some people say, oh, you need to let go of the old story. Other people say you need to let go of the desire. You cannot let go of anything. All you can do is to apply whatever technique you choose to apply in order to create the new story in your mind. Once that story has been created and accepted by your subconscious mind, and you get into this knowing state, of course the desire is gone, because now the desire has been replaced with I have it. And in that state, you're also not going to be obsessed with whatever it is, because it's the feeling of I have it. You think of it here and there. It's always from the end. It's always from the calmness of it's mine, even though in the 3D that you know that it's not there yet, but it's not bothering you. It's not important because you know it's yours. And then, by the way, of course, it manifests in the physical. So we're not just doing it to only experience it in our mind. It's coming in the 3D, but right before it arrives. And that is the letting go that happens because of the work that you do. It's not something that you need to apply and do. So, because it doesn't work. You can't let go of something that you desire because the thought is going to come up a lot. And it needs to be dealt with. If you're having a thought or a story that keeps coming up about something that you're constantly manifesting and you really want, it's going to come up constantly. How are you going to detach? Because then it becomes forced. And I tried it. I tried forcing myself to not think about something that I really wanted. It doesn't work. Nothing works if it's forced in manifestation. So, by the way, I have a whole video on this topic that I'm going to link down below, and I have a whole playlist about the next thing that I'm going to mention that I also don't do. This is also something that came with a little bit of experience and a lot of confidence in manifesting, which is taking action. This is also something that you hear a lot. Like, oh, you need to visualize and then you have to take inspired action, because otherwise, how do you expect your manifestation to come to you? I have heard that so much. It's complete BS, because manifestation is something that happens from your imagination. Your imagination being Almighty God, that knows everything, that can do everything. And when you, in your human form, are going to force some sort of action, figure out to take some inspired action to help manifestation, it really becomes like helping God. And if you think of it that way, it becomes ridiculous. And I think the main reason that people want to take action is that because we're just not used to believing in the fact that just imagination can bring us our specific person, our career, our job, our money, our weight loss, our whatever it is that you are manifesting. We have been used to living so much in the 3D, in the physical, and doing everything in the physical that it takes some confidence to sit back and imagine instead of taking action. Now, just to mention quickly, if it's needed that you take action as part of your manifestation, trust me, you won't be able to miss it, because your mind is powerful enough to make you do, to lead you to take steps in order to get your manifestation, if that's needed. A lot of time it's not needed. But that will not be something that you figure out yourself. This is the difference. It's not something that you need to figure out yourself. All you need to do is to impress your subconscious mind with your new story. Everything else will be taken care of for you, even through you if needed. So when, and I get so many questions about inspired action. Like, for example, how do I know if this is inspired action or not? Especially if you have that question, it's not inspired. Like, because in that inspired action taking state, you're not thinking, it's just flowing. It's just, so don't focus on what do I need to do? What do I need to not do? Is this the right thing to do? Should I text this? If you're in that state, it already means that you're coming from the state of lack. Taking any action from the state of lack is going to produce more of the lack. So of course you don't want that. So taking action is one of the big topics, and detaching and letting go also. These are not things that you specifically do. These are things that happen as a result of your manifestation work. If you are consciously manifesting, all you need to focus on is your imagination, the stories you're telling yourself, the stories that you believe, and that's it. Once that has changed, everything else will figure itself out. No need to make manifestation become a chore, stuff that you need to figure out. The one thing that you actually need to figure out is, what do you want? and then focus on it. And then, of course, there are a lot of things to deal with. Limiting belief come up, negative emotions come up. We work with all that, but this video is specifically about not creating more work for yourself and not making life harder for yourself. Um, Especially now that you know that you're consciously manifesting and it's your imagination doing the work for you. And mental work is not always for the faint-hearted, and I understand that it's not always easy. But on the other hand, again, there's no reason to overcomplicate it and make life harder. So, and I'm of course all for making life easier, simpler, and because there's just no reason not to. So this was it for today. I really hope that this was helpful for you. I really hope that with this video I listened some of the worries that you have about manifestation, what to do, what not to do. And once again, if you need any help with your manifestations, I do offer coaching. I do offer both one-on-one coaching and group coaching. The link is in the description box below. Have a beautiful day and see you in the next video.